I will put you in handcuffs, and I will put you in a courtroom, and if necessary, I will put you in a jail cell.
Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner reiterated threats to potentially arrest ICE agents that were sent in to assist with these historically long TSA lines. He said,
no, I don't take a phone call from the president saying let him go. No, the president cannot pardon you. I'll say it again. The president cannot pardon you.
Has the president seen Krasner's comments? Does he have any response?
The president cannot pardon you for what? He's talking to the ICE agents who are handing out water bottles and are helping people move through lines at airports. It's a disgraceful comment. The men and women of ICE are great people.
Water bottles and great people. That's the image that the White House wants burned into your brain. Not raids, not illegal arrests, and especially not footage of ICE murdering American citizens in broad daylight on camera in the streets of Minneapolis. They're using their manufactured airport crisis to run something much bigger, and I'm going to show you every piece of it.
I would encourage this lawmaker, whose name I don't know and don't care to know, to actually sit down and speak with the ICE agents who are on the ground doing this important work, not just in our nation's airports, but again, to remove violent, dangerous, illegal alien criminals from our country, to protect this individual and all of us in this room and Americans across the country from murderers, pedophiles, and rapists who have been allowed into our country by Democrat politicians.
Murderers, pedophiles, and rapists in the same breath as friendly ICE agents handing out water. That is quite a tonal journey, but bold choice of words from an administration actively covering up the Epstein files and protecting Epstein's BFF, Donald Trump. Or how the GOP ignores when Trump supporters are indicted on 39 child sex crimes. Or even how pardoned January 6 rioters keep getting arrested for child sex abuse. It's almost like the party that won't stop talking about protecting children from predators is absolutely full of predators.
Shocker.
Seriously, the GOP acts like they're reenacting a scene from Bird Box. Blindfolded, hands out, stumbling around, desperately trying not to see what is right in front of them. The party they're in is a group of pedophiles, or as they call themselves, the GOP. But that's a whole other episode, and honestly, it deserves its own hour. Right now, I want to expose a very specific and very deliberate operation being run by the White House in plain sight. And to understand it, you first need to understand the crisis that they built to make it possible. Here's the most important thing that you need to know. Every single bit of this shutdown was manufactured on purpose. In July 2025, Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Bill and handed DHS $191 billion, up from $91 billion in 2025. Of the $191 billion, $75 billion went directly to ICE for detention beds, deportation flights, new officers, hiring bonuses, and of course, Kristi Noem's plastic surgery fund, along with her sex plane that she had with Corey Lewandowski. Meanwhile, TSA workers who sit under that exact same DHS roof are sleeping in their cars at the airport and selling their plasma to make ends meet. And while TSA agents are struggling to survive, Donald Trump is too busy to care. He's dancing to Village People. Seriously.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
The money is there, and the crisis is a choice because not only is ICE getting put up in hotels, but they're getting overtime to play airport concierge. When they aren't grabbing coffee or busy playing games on their phone, it's the GOP's goal to make the TSA so underfunded, so understaffed, so hollowed out that when they do finally kill it, you'll thank them for it. And it's not by accident either. This is straight from Project 2025. Step 1, strip TSA workers of their union rights. Step 2, defund the agency until it collapses. Step 3, point at the wreckage and say, see, the government cannot run airport security. And finally, step 4, hand it to private contractors. And they're not hiding it. Republican Senators Mike Lee and Tommy Tuberville introduced the Abolish the TSA Act. So don't believe the GOP when they say that they care about the TSA workers. And when you spend years trying to gut the people who keep airports running like Tuberville has, the airport gets you back, poetically, on camera.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Now, Republicans want you to think that this chaos is the Democrats' fault, even though Republicans have blocked 11 separate bills that would have funded TSA on its own and put these workers back on payroll.
Breaking news in the fight to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Just last hour, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson railed against the bill that unanimously passed in the Republican-led Senate overnight. Johnson saying, quote, this gambit that was done last night is a joke. Of course, keep in mind, every single Republican in the Senate signed on to that.
This is Trump just a few days ago.
I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it.
Now Trump says that he's willing to use existing DHS funds to pay TSA workers, which only proves that Donald Trump could have done this at any point, but he chose not to.
Suspicious.
But don't mistake this for compassion. Trump is not doing this because suddenly he cares about the TSA agents who are struggling. He's doing it because his polling is collapsing across the board.
New Fox News polling shows the president's approval rating taking a hit as gas prices rise from a month ago. 64% of registered voters disapprove of the president's performance on Iran. 71% of people disapprove of the handling of inflation. 66% disapprove of the performance on the economy.
His numbers are in the basement, and the airport chaos is one more thing that people are furious about. So now, all of a sudden, Trump finds the money. It's the same move every time. He brags that something will be great, which actually creates a crisis, then lets it burn long enough that people are furious and desperate, and then he walks in with an extinguisher and acts like a hero. Which is exactly what they're trying to do with ICE and airports. Trump and the GOP manufactured this crisis, and then he sent in his goons to help.
The ICE agents who are handing out water bottles and are helping people move through lines at airports, it's a disgraceful comment. The men and women of ICE are great people.
This is not a press briefing. It's the latest installment of a coordinated campaign between the White House, DHS, ICE, and right-wing media outlets and influencers to rebrand ICE as a friendly group of American patriots, to normalize their presence in spaces it has never occupied before, and to make you comfortable with a group of masked militia that has let nearly 50 people die under their watch. And that number is almost certainly not the real number, because we already know that ICE buried the killing of a 23-year-old US citizen in Texas for nearly a full year before a watchdog group forced the records out through a FOIA lawsuit. So if they hid that, then what else are they sitting on? Here's how the Trump administration builds this new friendly narrative. They get a reporter from a right-wing publication like the Daily Wire to show up to an airport and start filming very specific interactions with ICE agents, handing out water, talking to travelers in line, smiling, no masks.
When I first sent them in 2 days ago, I looked and they were wearing masks. And I think they have to because a lot of people are up. But in an airport, no. I said, fellas, do you mind taking off your masks in the airport? And they took them off. And people said, wow, these are nice guys. And they're helping the people with their bags. They're moving things along. It's a beautiful thing to see. People are starting to say, ICE, you're nice guys. We really appreciate it.
Just a bunch of regular guys who are totally not the same agency that have been dragging people out of their homes at 3 in the morning or, as I said earlier, murdering American citizens in the streets. Also, does anyone else find it weird that suddenly they're not wearing masks, even though Republicans have been screaming that ICE agents absolutely had to wear masks and cover their faces during operations so they wouldn't get doxxed? And now, here they are, unmasked, on camera, waving at travelers, posing for content, almost like the masks were never about safety. Almost like that was all a lie. Because as I said in my last episode, ICE is not here to help TSA. They're here to intimidate, harass, and arrest people. They just need you to be comfortable enough not to flinch when they do it.
Plus, we're doing a security function at the airports. We're going to arrest criminals going through this airport. We're going to look for human trafficking, sex trafficking, money, money smuggling.
I'm sorry, but Homan talking about arresting money smugglers is pretty rich, since back in 2024, undercover agents handed Homan $50,000 in a food takeout bag to help secure government contracts if Trump won re-election. So while Homan was giving that interview, the White House needed someone to make all of this look good on camera.
I think what we're seeing at airports right now is showing that the real American people, not some blue-haired people in Minneapolis, are really appreciative of ICE, and that Democrats' narrative is not the truth and not something that they're following as gospel. And same with the media. I mean, you can go on and see just constant news cycles about ICE and how they're saying they're terrorizing people. That's just not, people are rejecting that. They're seeing ICE at airports and they're just so grateful. They're smiling at them. They're going up to them saying they're praying for them. That's the reality.
Right.
It's scary. I'm scared because of what's going on in our country. It's so hard, all of this happening.
I'm sure it makes a lot of people nervous, and it's sad because I bet a lot of people have a lot of anxiety coming to the airport.
I don't think we need them here. We need to be paid. Why would you bring another agency to be TSA when you already have TSA? We're trained to be in these checkpoints, to use the equipment that we use, and anytime somebody interferes with that, it just throws one more wrench in the cog.
The Daily Wire's immigration reporter was not just on Fox News trying to humanize ICE and do PR for them. She was also physically at Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, watching ICE agents for hours, posting updates in real time like she was covering a product launch, because she was. Her first post said, "Travelers at Bush Airport seem pretty at ease with ICE's presence, chatting, joking, and striking up conversations." Then in her second post she said, "Contrary to the narrative in corporate media, many travelers at Houston's IAH airport appear to be welcoming ICE's presence. And then in a follow-up post, she said, "I have been watching ICE interact with travelers for hours at IAH airport in Houston today and have not seen one negative interaction." That's not reporting, that's a brand ambassador with a press badge. But here's where it stops being one person's opinion and becomes something else entirely, because that content does not stay just on her feed. ICE quotes Terce saying, "The brave men and women of ICE are patriots." DHS also says the men and women of ICE are patriots. The White House then thanks ICE agents deployed at airports nationwide, claiming they're keeping TSA lines moving so Americans can fly safely and on time. True patriots. Houston ICE quote tweets the White House thanking them and claiming that certain elected officials and members of the media are painting them as villains. Well, when you murder American citizens, you tend to be. One right-wing reporter's content laundered through official government communication channels is not organic. It's not a coincidence. It's a content pipeline. The Daily Wire loads the content, the White House fires it, and by the time it hits your feed, it has the full weight of the US government behind it. And then they kicked it up one more gear. DHS posted this video claiming an ICE agent allegedly saved the life of a 1-year-old boy who was unresponsive while waiting in line at JFK. According to a tweet from DHS, the infant stopped breathing and a heroic officer immediately sprang into action to perform a Heimlich maneuver to restore the infant's breathing. They went on to say, "The officer's extraordinary bravery embodies the selfless service of DHS law enforcement." Now, if that's true, great. I am genuinely glad the child is okay. But this is where my spidey sense starts going off. On March 24th, Mark Wayne Mullen was confirmed as the new DHS secretary. On March 25th, a right-wing reporter started posting videos of ICE agents handing out water and chatting with travelers. Then, on March 26th, DHS posted the baby video a day after it happened, packaged and ready to go viral. So within 48 hours of Mullen taking over, his department is no longer the agency that left TSA workers without pay, let nearly 50 people die in its custody, or murdered 2 American citizens in the streets of Minneapolis. Suddenly, it's a department of selfless public servants. Convenient. Very convenient. And not only is this language a little too focus grouped, but as I track this story online, every single post about it uses the exact same blurry CCTV footage in the exact same language. Local stations, Fox News, CBS, right-wing influencers, all of them using the same wording like they got the same memo from DHS. ICE agent saves unresponsive baby, over and over again with no additional details.
That's weird.
Now look, this could have happened exactly the way that DHS says, but here's the thing about that. This is the same White House that lied about killing 200 school children in Iran and called it counterterrorism. The same administration that announced a major strike on narco-terrorists in Ecuador that actually turned out to be a dairy farm.
Yikes.
So when DHS says, "Trust us, a heroic officer saved a baby," here's one grainy and blurry video that's blocked by a pillar. You'll have to forgive me for not immediately believing them. But if a baby was actually saved in the middle of a packed security line in an airport with thousands of cameras around, we would be seeing it. Somebody in that line would have filmed it and posted it online. And in all of my research, there is not one single video or post online from travelers who were actually standing in that line at JFK on March 25th when this allegedly happened. Not one. Something is not adding up, so I reached out to the New York Port Authority, the people who own those cameras. Their press team refused to confirm that the incident even happened and pointed me to DHS. And DHS has not responded, even though I know someone in Colorado and Laredo, Texas opened and read my email multiple times. So we have one grainy clip, vague details, and 2 agencies dodging questions. Draw your own conclusions. The only thing we know for certain is that this video was very useful to a brand new DHS secretary and very useful to an agency that desperately needs you to think of them differently. Because ICE agents in airports is not the end game. It's a test run for placing them at polling stations in November, which is something I've discussed in a previous episode. And now Steve Bannon is saying it out loud.
We can use what's happening with these ICE helping out at the airports. We can use this as a test run, as a test case to really perfect ICE's involvement in the 2026 midterm election, sir?
Yeah, I think we should have ICE agents at the polling places, because if you're an illegal alien, you can't vote, right? It's against the law. It's a federal crime for you to vote in federal elections. And so if you're an American citizen, you should be happy that ICE is there, because you're not going to have illegal aliens canceling out your vote.
The evidence that undocumented immigrants have been voting in any meaningful numbers is, per multiple investigations, including the New York Times, virtually non-existent. More fraud actually happens by Republicans. This is not about election integrity, it's about voter intimidation via armed federal agents. Look at what they're doing. They're not just running operations, they're running a PR campaign, flooding your memory with good images to cover up the bad ones, make the uniform feel familiar, make their presence feel normal. They need you to stop flinching. So when the moment comes, and Bannon already told you that moment is coming, they're hoping that you won't be alarmed, that you won't flinch. You'll just think, oh, those guys, they saved a baby. They gave people water. They seem nice. Do not be fooled. Thanks for watching. What Was That exists because of viewers like you. You can support the show and get access to more episodes and breakdowns by going to whatwasthat.show and joining for just $10 a month. Your subscription keeps What Was That going. No corporate filters, no outside agenda, just honest storytelling with a sense of humor. You can also find What Was That on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. I'm Gabe Sanchez, and I'll see you next time on What Was That?